The Zalthar Empire considered themselves the greatest hunters in the galaxy. For 2,000 years, they had traveled from star to star, finding new species to hunt. They collected trophies from 100 different worlds. Their halls were filled with the heads and bones of creatures that once ruled their planets. The Zalthar were big, 7 feet tall with thick armor-like skin. They had 4 arms, each strong enough to crush steel. Their teeth could bite through metal. Their eyes could see in complete darkness. They were perfect predators. And they were bored. "We've hunted everything worth hunting," complained Commander Varkos, leader of the hunting fleet. He sat in his command chair, looking at star maps with disappointment. "The Krellians were too easy," said his second officer. "We defeated their strongest warriors in minutes." "The Thraxians weren't even a challenge," another hunter added. "They surrendered before we even landed." Varkos growled in frustration. For warriors like the Zalthar, there was nothing worse than boredom. They lived for the hunt. They lived for the challenge. They needed worthy prey. "Sir," a young officer called out, "I found something interesting." Everyone turned to look. "There's a planet in a small solar system. 3rd planet from their sun. They call it Earth." "Earth?" Varkos repeated. "What's special about it?" The officer pulled up information on the screen. "The dominant species calls themselves humans. They're relatively new. Only been around for about 200,000 years. The other hunters laughed. 200,000 years? They're babies. "What weapons do they have?" Varkos asked. "Primitive," the officer replied. "Chemical explosives, metal projectiles. Nothing energy-based. Nothing that could harm our ships." "How strong are they physically?" "Weak, sir. They have only 2 arms. Thin skin. No natural armor. No claws or fangs worth mentioning. Average height is about 5 to 6 feet. More laughter filled the command deck. "They sound pathetic," one hunter said. "Why would we waste time on them?" But Varkos was thinking. He zoomed in on the images of Earth. He saw cities, technology, structures that showed intelligence. "They're weak physically," Varkos said slowly, "but they've built civilizations. They've developed technology. That means they have some intelligence." "So what?" another hunter asked. "Intelligence won't help them against our strength." Varkos smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "That's exactly why they'll be interesting. Every species we've hunted was either strong or smart. Never both. These humans are smart but weak. Let's see how they survive when real predators come for them." The hunting fleet changed course toward Earth. They didn't know they were making the biggest mistake of their existence. The Zalthar fleet arrived at Earth's solar system 1 week later. They didn't hide. They didn't sneak. Hunters don't hide from prey. Their ships appeared near Mars, visible to every telescope on Earth. Within hours, every government on Earth knew. Alien ships. Big ones. Dozens of them. And they were heading toward Earth. "What do they want?" the President of the United States asked his advisors. "We don't know, sir. They haven't tried to communicate." "Have they shown any hostile intent?" "Not yet. But those are warships, sir. No question about it." Around the world, people watched the news with growing fear. Alien ships were real. And they were coming. Then the message arrived. It wasn't a diplomatic greeting. It wasn't a request for peace. It was an announcement. The message appeared on every screen on Earth. Television, computers, phones. Everywhere. A huge alien face appeared. 4 arms. Thick armor skin. Sharp teeth. "Varkos. People of Earth," he said, his voice deep and threatening. "I am Commander Varkos of the Zalthar Empire. We are the greatest hunters in the galaxy. We have hunted on 100 worlds. We have defeated 1,000 species." People watched in horror. "We have come to your planet for one reason. To hunt you. To test if humans are worthy prey. Your weapons are weak. Your bodies are fragile. But you have intelligence. That makes you interesting." Varkos smiled cruelly. "Here are the rules. We will land hunting parties on your planet. 100 of our best hunters. They will hunt you for sport. If you survive for 30 of your Earth days, we will leave. If you don't—" He paused. "Well, your species will become extinct. And your planet will become our new hunting ground." The message ended. Silence fell across Earth. Then panic began. But in military command centers around the world, in government offices, in homes and streets, something else was growing alongside the fear. Anger. A soldier in America said to his commander, "Sir, did that alien just say he's going to hunt us? On humans? For sport?" The commander nodded grimly. The soldier's expression hardened. "Permission to speak freely, sir?" "Granted." These aliens just made the biggest mistake of their lives. They think we're prey. They think we're weak. They're about to learn something very important about humans. What's that, soldier? The soldier smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. It was the smile of a predator who just got challenged. Humans aren't prey, sir. We're the apex predators of Earth. We didn't get to the top of our food chain by being weak. We got here by being the meanest, smartest, most stubborn creatures on this planet. These aliens think they're hunters. He looked at the sky where the alien ships waited. They're about to find out what happens when you hunt the hunters. Around the world, millions of humans were having the same realization. The Zalthar thought they were coming to hunt weak prey. They were wrong. They weren't coming to hunt humans. They were becoming the hunted. 48 hours after the hunt began, something became very clear. The Zalthar were losing. Not because humans had better weapons. Not because humans were stronger. But because humans were doing what humans do best. They were adapting, learning, and organizing. Commander Varkos stared at the reports with growing disbelief. Hunting Party 7 reports 3 casualties, an officer read. Hunting Party 12 lost 2 members. Hunting Party 3 is requesting evacuation. They're trapped, sir. Trapped. Varkos roared. How can the greatest hunters in the galaxy be trapped by primitive prey? The officer showed him the footage. In Nevada, USA, Hunting Party 3 had chased a group of humans into the desert. Easy prey, they thought. But the humans led them to an old military testing ground. When the Zalthar followed, humans detonated buried explosives. The area was covered in hidden mines, traps, and weapons. The hunters were pinned down. Every time they tried to move, something exploded. Clever, Varkos admitted grudgingly. But that's just one party. What about the others? The news got worse. In Russia, local hunters had joined forces with military forces. The Zalthar found themselves being tracked by humans who knew every tree, every hill, every hiding spot. The humans turned the tables. Now the Zalthar were being hunted. In Brazil, the hunting party tried to use the jungle for cover. Bad idea. The locals knew the Amazon rainforest better than the Zalthar could ever learn. Traps everywhere. Poison plants. Insects that the aliens didn't know were dangerous. And humans who appeared and disappeared like ghosts. In China, the government evacuated entire cities and then bombed the buildings where Zalthar were hiding. If we can't shoot them, a general said, we'll drop buildings on them. It worked. But what really shocked Varkos was the coordination. Sir, an officer said nervously, the humans are sharing information. Globally. Instantly. What do you mean? They have something called the internet. Every human settlement is connected. When one group learns something about us, every other group knows it within minutes. Varkos watched the data with growing horror. A soldier in Canada discovered that Zalthar armor was weakest at the joints. He posted it online. Within an hour, every human fighter on Earth knew where to aim. A scientist in Japan figured out that Zalthar technology used a specific energy frequency. She posted how to disrupt it. Military forces worldwide started building jammers. A hunter in Africa noticed that Zalthar had trouble with bright lights at certain frequencies. It affected their special vision. The information spread. Humans everywhere started using powerful lights as weapons. They're learning faster than any species we've ever hunted, an officer admitted. Impossible, Varkos said. They're primitives. Primitives who are winning, sir. On Earth, something historic was happening. Countries that had been enemies for decades were working together. Information was shared freely. Resources were pooled. Everyone had one common goal: survive the hunt. At a secret military base in Switzerland, leaders from 50 nations gathered for an emergency meeting. We have 30 days to survive, the UN Secretary General said. We're on day 2. We need a coordinated strategy. A general from the United States spoke up. Our forces have learned that these aliens are tough but not invincible. They can be hurt. They can be killed. We just need to be smart about it. What are their weaknesses? Asked a commander from India. Several, a scientist replied, pulling up data. First, they rely too much on their technology. When we jam their communications, they get confused. Second, they hunt in small groups. They're not used to facing organized armies. Third, they underestimate us. They still think we're weak prey. That's their biggest mistake, a general from Russia added. They don't understand that humans have been predators for millennia. We know how to hunt. We know how to fight. A strategy was formed. We don't engage them in direct combat, the plan stated. We use guerrilla tactics. Hit and run. Traps. Ambushes. Make them afraid to move. Make them paranoid. Make them regret coming to Earth. Every nation agreed. Within hours, the strategy was being implemented worldwide. The Zalthar started noticing the change immediately. Humans stopped running. Instead, they laid traps. They set ambushes. They attacked from unexpected angles and disappeared before the Zalthar could respond. In Germany, a hunting party entered a town expecting scared civilians. Instead, they walked into a kill zone. Buildings rigged with explosives. Streets covered with hidden weapons. Military forces waiting on every rooftop. 5 Zalthar died in 30 seconds. In Australia, hunters tried to chase down a group of humans in vehicles. The humans led them straight into a military training ground. Artillery fire rained down from every direction. The Zalthar barely escaped. In Mexico, locals used their knowledge of ancient cave systems to ambush hunters. The Zalthar followed them underground. Bad mistake. The caves were filled with traps. The humans knew every passage. The aliens got lost in the darkness. Only 3 of the 10 hunters made it back to the surface. Commander Varkos watched the casualty reports with growing fear. 27 hunters lost in 48 hours, he said quietly. That's unacceptable. Sir, should we send reinforcements? An officer asked. Reinforcements? Varkos looked at his officer like he was insane. If we send more hunters, we'll just lose more hunters. These humans, they're not prey. He couldn't finish the sentence. Admitting the truth was too painful. But everyone on the ship knew the truth. The Zalthar had made a fatal mistake. They came to Earth thinking humans were weak prey to be hunted for sport. But humans were predators. Dangerous predators. And they were proving it. Around the world, humans were sending a message. Not with words. With actions. A message that said, "You came to hunt us? Fine. Now we'll show you what real hunting looks like." Social media was filled with updates. Zalthar hunting party spotted in Colorado. Local militia is moving in. This should be fun. Australian forces just took down 3 more hunters. Score, humans 31, aliens 0. Breaking, Japanese defense forces have captured a Zalthar alive. They're studying its technology. We're learning from them now. The mood on Earth was changing. Fear was turning into confidence. Panic was becoming determination. A soldier posted online, "They wanted to hunt us for sport. Now they're learning that humans don't play around. We hunt to win." His post got 10 million likes in an hour. Varkos made a decision. A painful decision. "Recall all hunting parties," he ordered. "Sir?" His officers were shocked. "We can't." I said recall them. Now. Before we lose everyone. The order was sent. But it was already too late for some hunting parties. They were too deep in hostile territory. Surrounded. Cut off. Earth had become a trap. And the Zalthar were caught in it. The greatest hunters in the galaxy were learning a hard lesson. Never underestimate humans. Never hunt the hunters. The Zalthar hunting parties landed on Earth exactly 24 hours after their announcement. They didn't land in one place. They spread out across the planet. 10 hunters landed in North America. 10 in South America. 10 in Europe. 10 in Africa. 10 in Asia. 10 in Australia. The rest scattered across smaller regions. Each hunting party had the same orders. Hunt humans. Make it challenging. Make it fun. Commander Varkos watched from his ship in orbit. "Let the great hunt begin," he announced proudly. The first hunting party landed in a forest in Canada. The leader was a warrior named Thrak. He had hunted on 50 different worlds. He had never failed. Thrak stepped out of his landing craft and breathed in the earth air. "Smells weak," he told his team. Like frightened prey. His hunters laughed and checked their weapons. Energy spears. Plasma nets. Stunning devices. Nothing that would kill instantly. Where was the fun in that? They wanted the hunt to last. "The nearest human settlement is 5 miles north," one hunter reported, reading his scanner. "Population approximately 2,000. "Perfect," Thrak said. "Small enough to be fun. Large enough to be interesting. Let's go introduce ourselves." The 10 Zalthar warriors moved through the forest. Fast, silent, professional. They had done this 1,000 times before. They reached the edge of the town within an hour. It was a small logging community. Simple houses. One main street. A few shops. Thrak smiled. "Watch how easy this is." He stepped into the main street and roared. A challenge. Announcing his presence. People came out of their houses. They saw the massive alien warrior. 7 feet tall. Forearms. Armor skin. Weapons they didn't recognize. Some people screamed. Some ran. Some froze in fear. Exactly what Thrak expected. Humans of this settlement. Thrak announced loudly. We are here to hunt you. Run. Hide. Fight if you're brave enough. The hunt has begun. Then something unexpected happened. An old man walked out of one of the houses. He was maybe 70 years old. Gray hair. Weathered face. He was holding a rifle. You want to hunt us? The old man said calmly. Too calmly. Thrak laughed. Old human, that primitive weapon cannot hurt me. My skin is stronger than your metal. Run while you can. Make this interesting. The old man didn't run. He looked at the other townspeople. Get inside. Call the military. Tell them we got company. Then he looked back at Thrak. You picked the wrong town, alien. This is a logging community. You know what that means. Thrak tilted his head, confused. It means every person here knows how to use an axe, a chainsaw, and a rifle. It means we work with our hands. It means we're tough. And it means... The old man raised his rifle. We don't scare easy. He fired. The bullet bounced off Thrak's armor, exactly as expected. Thrak laughed again. See, your weapons are... He didn't finish the sentence. Because 30 more rifles fired at the same time. From windows. From rooftops. From behind cars. The entire town had armed itself in the time Thrak was talking. The bullets didn't penetrate the Zalthar armor. But they hurt. They created impact. They pushed the hunters backward. Retreat to the forest. Thrak ordered, surprised. The Zalthar hunters ran back into the trees. Behind them the humans cheered. First blood goes to humanity, someone shouted. Thrak was angry but also excited. These humans fought back immediately. No begging. No crying. Just instant resistance. Interesting, Thrak said to his team. Very interesting. These humans have courage. This might actually be fun. But he made a mistake. A fatal mistake. He underestimated what was about to happen next. Similar scenes played out across Earth. In the Amazon rainforest, a Zalthar hunting party tried to ambush a village. The villagers disappeared into the jungle. The hunters followed, confident. 3 hours later, only 2 hunters made it back to their ship. The jungle itself seemed to fight them. Traps. Poison darts. Attacks from every direction. The humans know their territory, one injured hunter reported. They use it against us. In the Australian outback, hunters tried to chase down a group of humans in the desert. The humans led them deeper and deeper into the wasteland. When the Zalthar finally caught up, they found the humans waiting with vehicles, weapons, and a very simple trap. They had led the hunters into a minefield. In Tokyo, hunters expected terrified crowds. Instead, they found an empty city. The humans had evacuated civilians and left behind something worse. The military. Where is everyone? A confused hunter asked. That's when the tanks appeared. In New York, hunters landed in Central Park expecting chaos. They got chaos, but not the kind they expected. Thousands of humans surrounded the park. Not running. Not hiding. Watching. Recording. Some were even making jokes. Look at these aliens, someone posted on social media. They think they can hunt New Yorkers? We deal with tourists every day. These guys are nothing. Commander Varkos watched all of this from his ship. His confident smile was fading. Sir, an officer said nervously, the hunting parties are reporting resistance. Significant resistance. Resistance? Varkos repeated. They're weak. They have primitive weapons. Yes, sir. But they're not acting weak. They're not running. They're fighting back. Immediately. Everywhere. Varkos watched the screens showing his hunting parties. They weren't chasing scared prey. They were being harassed, attacked, and outsmarted. This wasn't supposed to happen, Varkos said slowly. Down on Earth, military forces were mobilizing. Not just one country. All of them. The entire planet was responding to the alien threat. And humans were learning something important. The Zalthar were strong. They were tough. They were experienced hunters. But they had never hunted humans before. They had never hunted a species that hunted for 200,000 years before developing civilization. They had never hunted a species that reached the top of their food chain not by being the biggest or strongest, but by being the smartest and most persistent. They had never hunted a species that invented weapons specifically because they weren't strong enough to fight with just their bodies. The Zalthar made a fatal mistake. They thought humans were prey. But humans were predators. Always had been. And now the real hunt was about to begin. Only this time, the Zalthar weren't the hunters. They were the hunted. Day 5 of the hunt. The situation had completely reversed. Commander Varkos sat in his command chair, watching his screen in silence. The numbers were devastating. Out of 100 hunters sent to Earth, 43 were dead. 21 were injured and evacuated. 12 were missing, probably captured. Only 24 were still operational, and it had only been 5 days. "This is impossible," Varkos whispered. "We are Zalthar. We are the greatest hunters in the galaxy. How are we losing to primitives?" His second officer spoke carefully. "Sir, I don't think they're as primitive as we thought." Varkos glared at him but said nothing, because it was true. Down on Earth, humans were not just defending anymore. They were attacking. And they were getting better at it. In the forests of Canada, Thrak and his remaining 4 hunters were hiding in a cave. They were supposed to be the hunters. Now they were running for their lives. "How many humans are tracking us?" one hunter asked nervously. "I count at least 50, another replied, checking his scanner. "No, wait. More coming. Maybe 100 now." Thrak couldn't believe it. 100 humans tracking 5 Zalthar warriors? It should be the other way around. "They're using vehicles," a hunter reported. "Helicopters. Ground troops. Dogs. They're hunting us like animals." "We are not animals," Thrak roared. But his voice shook slightly. Outside the cave, a human voice spoke through a loudspeaker. "Attention alien hunters. You are surrounded. You have 2 choices. Surrender and you will be treated fairly. Or keep running and we'll keep hunting. Your choice." Thrak's pride screamed at him to fight. But his survival instinct was stronger. "What do we do, Commander?" a hunter asked. Thrak looked at his team. They were exhausted, injured, scared. These were warriors who had never known fear before Earth. "We surrender," Thrak said quietly. His hunters stared at him in shock. "We surrender," he repeated. "Because if we don't, we'll all die. And I'm not dying on this cursed planet." They walked out of the cave with their hands raised. All 4 arms up. Weapons dropped. The humans surrounded them immediately. Hundreds of soldiers. Weapons ready. But they didn't shoot. A Canadian military officer stepped forward. "You wanted to hunt us for sport," he said. "How's that working out for you?" Thrak said nothing. What could he say? Similar scenes were happening worldwide. In Brazil, 3 Zalthar hunters surrendered to local forces after being trapped in the jungle for 3 days. They were starving, dehydrated, and covered in insect bites. The locals had used the jungle itself as a weapon. In China, 2 hunters gave up after their shelter was surrounded by tanks. They realized they had no chance of escape. In India, a hunting party was captured when local villagers used ancient tactics to trap them. Nets. Pits. Simple but effective. The mighty Zalthar, feared across 100 worlds, were surrendering to humans. Commander Varkos received each surrender report like a physical blow. "This can't be happening," he kept saying. "This can't be real." But it was real. And it was getting worse. On Earth, humans were doing something unexpected. They weren't just defeating the Zalthar. They were studying them. Scientists examined captured hunters. They analyzed their armor, their weapons, their technology. "This is incredible," a scientist in Japan said, studying a Zalthar energy weapon. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. But it's not perfect. Look here, this power source has a weakness. If we can replicate this." Another scientist interrupted excitedly. "And their armor. It's strong but the joints are vulnerable. We already knew that from field reports, but now we can see exactly how vulnerable." Military engineers were reverse engineering Zalthar equipment. Within days, they had created new weapons specifically designed to fight Zalthar technology. "We're not just surviving," a general said proudly. "We're learning. We're adapting. We're evolving our tactics faster than they can respond." Commander Varkos called an emergency meeting with his remaining officers. "We need to end this," he said firmly. "We need to evacuate the remaining hunters and leave this planet." "But sir," an officer protested, "we announced a 30-day hunt. We still have 25 days left. If we leave early, we'll look weak. The other empires will hear about this. Our reputation." "Our reputation?" Varkos exploded. "Our reputation is already destroyed. We've lost almost half our hunting party to a species we called primitive. Every day we stay, more hunters die. Every hour, the humans learn more about us. If we stay the full 30 days, we might not have any hunters left to evacuate." The officers fell silent. Varkos continued, his voice bitter. "I made a mistake. A fatal mistake. I thought humans were weak because their technology is primitive. I thought they were easy prey because they're small and fragile. But I was wrong." He pulled up footage of human forces attacking his hunters. Coordinated strikes. clever ambushes, ruthless efficiency. These humans are not weak. They're survivors. They've been apex predators on their planet for thousands of years. They didn't develop that advanced technology because they're smart and peaceful. They developed it because they're smart and dangerous. An officer asked quietly, "What are your orders, sir?" Varkos took a deep breath. The decision hurt his pride. But pride wasn't worth dying for. Send a message to all remaining hunting parties. Begin immediate evacuation. Abandon the hunt. We're leaving Earth. And what do we tell the humans? Varkos smiled bitterly. Tell them the truth. Tell them they won. Tell them the mighty Zalthar Empire admits defeat. The message was sent to all Zalthar forces on Earth. Return to the ships. The hunt is over. Humanity won. But Varkos made one more decision. A final message to Earth. He appeared on every screen again just like 5 days ago. But this time he looked different. Tired. Defeated. Humble. People of Earth, he began. I am Commander Varkos. 5 days ago I came to your planet with arrogance and pride. I said we would hunt you for sport. I said you were weak. I said we were the greatest hunters in the galaxy. He paused. I was wrong about everything. You are not weak. You are not prey. You are warriors. You are survivors. You are predators who have earned their place at the top of your world. My hunters are retreating. The hunt is over. You have won. Around the world, humans watched in stunned silence. Then someone started cheering. Then another. Then millions. Humanity had done the impossible. They had defeated the greatest hunters in the galaxy. Not in 30 days. In 5 days. The Zalthar were leaving. Running away with their tails between their legs. But the story wasn't over yet. Because the galaxy was watching. And they had just learned something very important about humanity. Never, ever, mess with humans. The Zalthar evacuation began immediately. Across Earth, the remaining hunting parties moved toward their extraction points. Some walked with heads down, ashamed. Others ran, desperate to leave the planet alive. But getting off Earth wasn't as easy as landing had been. Humans weren't just letting them leave. They were making sure the Zalthar remembered this lesson forever. In Nevada, a Zalthar extraction team arrived to pick up the trapped hunters. As their ship descended, human fighter jets appeared from nowhere. Attention alien vessel, a pilot's voice came through the radio. You are in restricted airspace. State your intentions. The Zalthar pilot responded nervously. We are here to evacuate our personnel. We are leaving your planet as promised. Good, the human pilot replied. But you'll leave on our terms. Fly at the altitude and speed we designate. Any deviation and we will shoot you down. Understood. The Zalthar pilot swallowed his pride. Understood. Human jets escorted the alien ship, making it clear who was in control now. The mighty Zalthar, who had arrived with such confidence, were now following human orders. Similar scenes played out across the planet. In Australia, evacuation ships were forced to land in designated zones, surrounded by human military forces. In Europe, Zalthar vessels had to request permission to enter airspace. Permission that was sometimes delayed just to make a point. They're humiliating us, a Zalthar officer complained to Varkos. We humiliated ourselves, Varkos replied bitterly. They're just making sure we don't forget it. But something else was happening. Something the Zalthar didn't expect. Not all humans were angry. Some were curious. At a military base in the United States, captured Zalthar hunters were being held. Scientists wanted to study them. Military leaders wanted to interrogate them. But one young soldier did something different. He brought food. Figured you might be hungry, the soldier said, pushing a tray through the cell bars. Thrak, the once proud hunting commander, looked at the food suspiciously. Is it poisoned? If we wanted you dead, you'd already be dead, the soldier said simply. It's just food. Chicken, rice, vegetables. Nothing fancy. Thrak ate slowly. It had been days since he'd had a proper meal. The food was strange but good. Why are you being kind? Thrak asked. We came to hunt your people. The soldier shrugged. Because the fight's over. You lost. We won. No point in being cruel now. Besides, I'm curious about you. Curious? Yeah. You guys traveled across the galaxy just to hunt. That's kind of insane. What makes someone do that? Thrak thought about the question. No one had ever asked him that before. We are Zalthar, he said finally. Hunting is what we are. It's what we do. It's our purpose. Well, you picked the wrong prey this time, the soldier said. Humans are hunters too. We just don't brag about it as much. Thrak nodded slowly. I'm beginning to understand that. The soldier smiled. When you get back to your empire, tell them something for me. Tell them humans are dangerous, but we're also fair. You came here with bad intentions and we stopped you. But we didn't torture you. We didn't execute prisoners. We fought hard, but we fought honorably. Why does that matter? Thrak asked. Because the galaxy should know both things about us. We're not prey. But we're not monsters either. We're just human. Thrak would remember this conversation for the rest of his life. Meanwhile, in space, something unexpected was happening. The Zalthar weren't the only ones watching Earth. Other alien civilizations had been observing the hunt. Some from nearby star systems. Others from distant galaxies. They had all heard about the Zalthar's boast. About how they would hunt the primitive humans for sport. Many had been curious. Some had been entertained. Now they were all shocked. A message reached the Galactic Council, a loose alliance of peaceful civilizations that avoided conflict with aggressive empires like the Zalthar. The humans won, a council member announced. The Zalthar are retreating. In 5 days, the humans defeated the most feared hunters in the galaxy. Silence fell over the council chamber. How? Someone asked. The humans have primitive technology. Limited space travel. No energy weapons. How did they win? A scientist who had been monitoring Earth spoke up. They won through coordination, adaptation, and ruthlessness. The Zalthar expected fear and panic. Instead, the humans organized globally in hours. They shared information instantly. They learned from every encounter and adapted their tactics immediately. She pulled up footage of human forces ambushing Zalthar hunters. But most importantly, they were willing to do whatever it took to win. The Zalthar hunt for sport. For pride. For entertainment. The humans fought for survival. For their planet. For their species. That made all the difference. Another council member spoke. Should we be concerned? If humans can defeat the Zalthar, they might be dangerous to us as well. Possibly, the scientist agreed. But from what we've observed, humans only fight when threatened. The Zalthar attacked first. The humans defended themselves. There's a difference. Still, a cautious voice added, we should monitor this species closely. They're more dangerous than they appear. The council agreed. Earth was now officially on the Galactic Council's watch list. Not as a threat, but as a species of interest. A species to be respected. Back on Earth, the evacuation was nearly complete. Most Zalthar hunting parties had been retrieved. A few were still missing, probably captured or killed. Commander Varkos prepared to send his final message to Earth. People of Earth, he said, his image appearing on screens worldwide one last time. Our evacuation is almost complete. In 1 hour, the last of our ships will leave your planet. You will never see the Zalthar again. He paused, choosing his words carefully. I came to your world thinking you were weak. I thought hunting you would be entertaining. I was arrogant, foolish, and wrong. You are not weak. You are warriors. You are survivors. You are predators who have earned respect. His expression became serious. I will report what happened here to my empire. I will tell them that Earth is forbidden. That humans are not prey. That anyone who tries to hunt you will meet the same fate we did. Defeat. Humiliation. Loss. He took a deep breath. But I will also tell them something else. That humans are dangerous, yes. But also honorable. You could have tortured our captured hunters. You could have executed them. But you didn't. You treated them fairly, even in defeat. Around the world, humans listened quietly. Thank you for that mercy, Varkos continued. And I apologize for my arrogance. Your species deserves respect. And from this day forward, the Zalthar Empire will give it to you. The message ended. 1 hour later, the last Zalthar ship left Earth's atmosphere. The great hunt was over. Humanity had won. But more importantly, humanity had announced itself to the galaxy. A message was sent to the universe, not in words but in actions. Don't mess with humans. We're tougher than we look. 3 months had passed since the Zalthar left Earth. Life was slowly returning to normal. Cities were being rebuilt. Families were reuniting. The fear was fading. But Earth had changed forever. Not in obvious ways, but in important ways. In a small town in Canada, the old man who first stood up to Thrak sat with his grandchildren. Grandpa, a young girl asked, were you really scared when the aliens came? The old man smiled. Of course I was scared. Only a fool wouldn't be scared. But being scared and giving up are two different things. What's the difference? The boy asked. Being scared means you understand the danger. Giving up means you let the danger win. We were scared, but we didn't give up. That's what made us win. The children nodded, understanding. Around the world, similar conversations were happening. Parents teaching children. Teachers explaining to students. Elders sharing wisdom. The lesson was simple: humans don't quit. Ever. But the impact went beyond Earth. In space, the news had spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The Zalthar Empire, feared for centuries, had been defeated by a primitive species in just 5 days. Every civilization was talking about it. Some were impressed. Some were scared. Some were curious. The Galactic Council held an emergency session. "We need to discuss Earth," the council leader said. "This human species has proven themselves formidable. The question is, what do we do about it?" "We should make contact," suggested a peaceful ambassador. "Open diplomatic relations. Offer friendship." "We should be cautious," warned a military commander. "They defeated the Zalthar. They might be aggressive." "They only fought because they were attacked," the scientist argued. "All evidence suggests humans are defensive, not aggressive. They didn't pursue the Zalthar into space. They didn't seek revenge. They just protected their home." After hours of debate, a decision was made. Earth would receive an official message from the Galactic Council. An invitation. A welcome to the larger galactic community. The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. Not with threats. Not with warnings. With an olive branch. A small ship appeared near Earth's moon. It didn't approach the planet. It didn't make any aggressive moves. Just waited. Then it sent a message. "People of Earth. We are the Galactic Council, a peaceful alliance of civilizations. We have watched your recent encounter with the Zalthar Empire. We are impressed by your courage, your unity, and your honor. We wish to extend an invitation to you. To join the larger galactic community. To share knowledge. To build friendship. To explore the stars together." The message was broadcast worldwide. People gathered around screens, watching in amazement. "This is no trick," the message continued. "We understand if you are suspicious. The Zalthar gave you reason to distrust aliens. But not all species are like them. Many of us seek peace, cooperation, progress. If you are interested, send a representative to our ship. We will wait." The world's leaders met urgently. "Is this real?" someone asked. "Our analysis says yes," a scientist replied. "That ship is different from the Zalthar vessels. Smaller. Non-threatening. And they're waiting for us to make the first move. What do we do?" The President of the United States spoke up. "We do what humans do best. We take a risk. We reach out. We learn. We grow." Others agreed. A team was assembled. Scientists, diplomats, military advisors, representatives from different countries and cultures. They boarded a shuttle and flew to the waiting ship. The meeting was historic. Inside the alien vessel, humans met representatives from 5 different civilizations. All peaceful. All curious about Earth. "We apologize for the Zalthar," a gentle alien said. "They do not represent most of us. Many species in the galaxy seek cooperation, not conquest." A human diplomat responded carefully. "We're willing to listen. But we need to be honest. After what happened with the Zalthar, Earth is cautious. We won't trust easily." "We understand," another alien replied. "Trust must be earned. We're willing to earn it." The conversation lasted hours. Information was exchanged. Questions were answered. Possibilities were discussed. At the end, an agreement was reached. Earth would join the Galactic Council as an observer. Not a full member yet, but a participant. A voice at the table. "One more thing," an alien ambassador said. "We've been discussing this among ourselves. Your species needs a designation. A name the galaxy will know you by." "We're already called humans," a human representative said. "Yes, but you need something more. Something that captures what you are. What you've shown us." The alien smiled, a friendly expression despite his strange features. "We propose calling you the Unbreakable. Because that's what you've proven yourselves to be. A species that doesn't break under pressure. That doesn't surrender in the face of impossible odds. That fights with courage and honor." The humans looked at each other. Some smiled. Some felt pride swelling in their chests. "The Unbreakable," one human repeated. "I like it." The news returned to Earth within hours. Humanity has been invited to join the Galactic Council. We're officially part of the galactic community. Earth has allies now. Celebrations erupted across the planet. Not wild parties, but quiet satisfaction. Pride in what they had accomplished. A new era had begun. In schools, children learned about the Zalthar incident as the moment Earth became united. Before the Zalthar came, a teacher explained, countries fought each other. We were divided. But when aliens threatened us, we became one family. We worked together. And that's why we won. Will aliens attack us again? A student asked. Maybe, the teacher admitted. The universe is big, dangerous. But now we know something important. We know we can defend ourselves. We know we're strong when we're united. And we know the galaxy is watching. They'll think twice before messing with humans. Years passed. Earth developed new technologies with help from galactic allies. Space travel improved. Communication systems advanced. Humans began exploring nearby star systems. But they never forgot the lesson the Zalthar taught them. Stay united. Stay strong. Stay human. Monuments were built in cities worldwide. Remembering the 5-day war. Honoring those who fought. Celebrating the victory. One monument had an inscription that became famous across Earth. They came to hunt us. They thought we were weak. They learned we were warriors. The galaxy learned to respect humanity. Never underestimate the human spirit. We are the unbreakable. Far away on the Zalthar homeworld, Commander Varkos lived in shame. He had lost almost half his hunting party. He had surrendered to primitives. His reputation was destroyed. But he told the truth to everyone who asked. Earth is forbidden, he said firmly. Humans are not prey. They're predators. Anyone who forgets that will pay the price. Some Zalthar didn't believe him. Some thought he was exaggerating. Those fools eventually visited Earth themselves, thinking they could succeed where Varkos failed. They didn't come back. After 3 more failed attempts by different alien species, the galaxy learned the lesson permanently. Don't mess with humans. On Earth, life continued. People worked. People loved. People lived. But they lived with new confidence. New purpose. New understanding. They were no longer alone in the universe. They were part of something bigger. But they were also unique. Special. Unbreakable. A grandmother told her grandchildren the story of the Zalthar, just as it had been told to her. Remember, children, she said gently. We're small. We're not the strongest. We're not the smartest. But we have something special. We have the human spirit. We have courage. We have hope. And most importantly, we have each other. Will aliens come again, Grandma? A child asked. Maybe, she smiled. But if they come as friends, we'll welcome them. If they come as enemies, we'll remind them why Earth is called the home of the unbreakable. The children smiled, feeling safe and proud. Somewhere in deep space, an alien student was learning about famous battles in galactic history. And this, the teacher said, showing an image of Earth, is the planet that defeated the Zalthar Empire in just 5 days. The home of the unbreakable. The species that proved strength isn't about size or technology. It's about spirit. About refusing to give up. Are humans dangerous? A student asked. Only if you threaten them, the teacher replied. Otherwise they're quite friendly. But remember this lesson well, never underestimate them. Never think they're weak. And most importantly, never, ever mess with humans. The students nodded, committing the lesson to memory. Across the galaxy, humanity's reputation grew. Not as conquerors. Not as aggressors. But as survivors. Warriors. The species that laughed at death and won. The unbreakable. And on Earth, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. Ready for whatever came next. Because they had learned something important. No matter what challenges came, no matter what dangers appeared, no matter what enemies threatened them, they would survive. They would stand together. They would never give up. Because that's what humans do. That's what made them unbreakable. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. The Zalthar learned a hard lesson. Never mess with humanity. We're tougher than we look, smarter than they thought, and more united than anyone expected. But this is just the beginning of Earth's galactic story.